Hi, it's Exercise in the Office Part 2. We're going to talk about 15 stress-relieving stretches you should do after work. Okay, so this video today is a complement to my last video, 10 stress-relieving stretches you can do at your desk. This is going to be about stress-relieving stretches you should do after work. These are going to be a little more total body, and these are all exercises or all stretches that you can do on the floor. Okay, so up next I'm going to show you a quick demonstration video of 15 stress-relieving stretches that you should do after work that are going to be targeting everything from your back to your shoulders to your neck all the way down to your legs. Stay tuned and we're going to go right through them. Okay, so stretch number 1. Okay, so this is called a good morning stretch. This stretch is designed to get you out of that bent over position and straightened out. We need to straighten out first. Okay, so that's our first stretch. Good morning stretch. We're gonna be here. Start with your knees bent, okay? Head down on the mat. And what we're gonna try to do on this one is just elongate the entire body. So you're gonna take your hands, clasp over your chest, okay? You're gonna bring those over your head, okay? Chest out a little bit, bring your feet down, one foot, the other foot, stretch out. Try to hold for about 10 seconds and then just come right back in, one foot, the other foot, arms in, relax. And then what you'll be trying to do is about 5 times for about 10 seconds. You're just going up, push, reach out, you're pushing over your head, one foot down, the other foot down, elongate your body, stretch out. Okay, stretch number 2, this is called a look back to chin tuck stretch. Okay, so this is designed to help get your head out of that forward position where you're stuck forward and you're really tight through here. Okay, so we're gonna start working on that next, okay? So stretch number 2, look back to chin tuck. Okay, so in this one, you can leave your knees bent on this. We're just gonna be focusing on your head. Okay, so in this one, you're gonna be looking back. So you're bringing your head as far up, your chin's gonna come up towards the ceiling, and then you're coming down and tucking your chin to your chest. You're gonna hold each position for 5 seconds. Okay, so you're looking back, sliding the back of your head on the mat, coming down to a chin tuck. Hold each position for about 5 seconds. And try about 10 times each way. Okay, so stretch number 3 is a neck rotational side to side stretch. Okay, so what we're gonna do on this one, same thing, is with your head and your neck. First one we're focusing on that motion here. Now we're gonna focus on motion side to side. Now in the last video we were focusing on some of those stretches sitting up. Now we're gonna do them totally relaxed on the mat. Okay, so this one, same thing, knees can be bent. We're just focusing on your head. Your shoulders are relaxed. Palms are down on the mat. Okay, so this one, your head is totally supported by the floor or the mat, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? And on this one, what you're gonna try to do is just go side to side, and I'm turning my chin as far, almost like I'm trying to look over my shoulder, okay? As far as I comfortably can. That's about as far as I can turn my head, okay? And then you go the other way, okay? Turn. And then as you come back, you're gonna notice a little more range of motion coming in, and you'll be able to turn a little bit more. So on this one, you're gonna go each way for about 5 seconds, turning, and try about 10 times each way. Okay, so stretch number 4 is called a trunk roll stretch. Okay, this is gonna be focusing more on the low back, rotation of the hips. Okay, so here, we're gonna be on our back again, head's gonna be down. Once again, comfortable position on the mat. Okay, trunk roll, this is a simple way to start warming up the low back and the hips, and then we're gonna start focusing on some of the hips and glutes and leg muscles as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is keep the knees bent. We're gonna keep the hands down once again. Shoulders are relaxed, your head is down, side to side with the legs. Okay, so this one, trunk roll, let your knees down. And I'm not forcing my knees towards the mat, so I'm not trying to push them all the way down to the floor. If they go all the way down, that's fine, but I'm just gonna get it as far as comfortable. Your hips can come off the mat a little bit, okay? And then you'll roll the other way, knees down. And you're just gonna hold each position for about 5 seconds, okay? So you kind of roll one way, hold for about 5 seconds, roll the other way, hold for about 5 seconds, and maybe try about 20 times on each side. Okay, so stretch number 5 is a Piriformis Pull stretch. Okay, so you've probably seen this before. The piriformis muscle is a muscle of the hip outside here on the outside of the glute muscle. Okay, and it runs right over the top of your sciatic nerve. Okay, so it's also one of the muscles that pushes down when you get sciatica. But when you're sitting down a lot, like after sitting in an office all day, okay, this is a great one to stretch out because that's going to be very tight. If the muscles of the hips are very tight, okay, it can keep all of the low back muscles in a pretty tight position too, and it's hard to decompress that area. Okay, so if you're having a low back pain, a lot of times this stretch will really be coming in handy. Okay, so we're coming in here. Knees are still bent. This is a position we want to start from. We're going to bring one leg over, okay, and then we're going to reach under the foot, grabbing behind the knee, okay, and then just let your head down and relax. And I'm just pulling the knee straight up towards my chin, and I'm just relaxing the right leg, and I'm only pulling as far as I comfortably can, okay? And on this one, you're gonna hold for about 30 seconds on each side, okay? So when you get to the other side, and you can just go back and forth. When you get to the other side after 30 seconds, same thing, the knee is gonna be right, it's gonna be right below the knee where the ankle is, okay? You're gonna reach underneath the foot, bring your fingers together, and then your head's back down, and same thing, you're bringing the knee directly in. Let the right leg relax down, so you're not holding this up, okay? Just let this totally relax. We're gonna pull this knee in, breathing in and out. And this one you wanna try for about at least 3 times on each side for about 30 seconds. Okay, and then the opposite of that one, number 6 is the Piriformis Push stretch. Okay, so we just did the pull, now we're gonna do this to the opposite to kind of relieve that position. Okay, so same thing. This stretch complements these two stretches complement each other really well, especially after the trunk roll stretch. Okay, so it's going to be the same position. We were just here pulling up. Okay, so now we're just going to leave this leg down. Just take your right hand. If I have my right leg over, take your right hand, push on your knee directly out, just as far as it'll comfortably go. Okay, and then that would be held for 30 seconds, and then we'd switch legs, put the leg on. Same thing, take the same side of the knee, and you're just pushing directly out as far as you'll comfortably go. And just like the last stretch, try 3 times on each side for about 30 seconds. Okay, so stretch number 7 is called a crossover rotation stretch. Okay, so this is gonna stretch the hips and the low back muscles at the same time. Okay, a little bit of the mid back muscles as well. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're actually gonna cross the leg over. So what we need to do is get the left leg, in this case, we're gonna do the other side too. Left leg flat, the right leg's gonna cross over, you're gonna roll onto your side. So I'm gonna bring my foot over as far as I comfortably can, okay? And then I'm gonna try to bring this shoulder back down without letting this foot up, okay? So I'm gonna bring my head down, arm down, and then try to hold that position, okay? So this one's the same thing. It's a little more intense, okay? So on this one, you might wanna try 15 seconds to start, okay? If you can do longer, try a little bit longer, but somewhere between 15 and 30 seconds on each side. And then the same thing, let me demonstrate the other way. It would be the same, so you'd bring this up, and then the same thing the other way. I usually try to roll over, bring the foot over, and then as you roll back, just try to relax everything. And same thing on this one. Maybe try 3 times on each side for 15 to 30 seconds. Okay, so stretch number 8. Okay, so this is a book opening stretch. Okay, so we did a seated book opening stretch when we were doing the 10 stress relieving stretches you can do at your desk video. Okay, so this one's going to be a real book opening stretches stretch where you're lying down on the floor. So once again, I actually brought in a pillow for this. So if you're at home, it helps to use a pillow on this to keep your head in the right position. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to put my head down and then I'll show you the book opening stretch. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so you're going to lie down on your side. Let's start. I'm going to start on my left side here. Okay, so I'm coming down. I'm just keeping my head elevated so it's pretty much in line with my spine. Okay, so on this one, head's relaxed, knees are relaxed, bent, bottom arm is totally straight. Okay, I'm gonna bring my top arm over, head is relaxing here. I'm just gonna reach out. I'm keeping my eyes on my hand and my bottom arm is staying down. Okay, I'm reaching out and up. I feel a really good stretch there. Okay, and then I'm rotational stretch as well. So my knees are staying down. I'm reaching over And I'm trying to bring my head all the way over to the other side as well as my hand, okay? All the way over, we're holding for 10 seconds. And then when you come back, you're gonna keep your eyes on your hand. Reach up towards the sky, reach out. And then from that same position, you'd go again, okay? And we're gonna go 10 times each way, so let you see it from the other direction. You're just gonna stay there. Okay, so from the other direction, it's gonna look like this, okay? Reaching out, reaching up, and coming over, and then I'm trying to keep my knees down, and I'm keeping my eyes on my hand. And trying to hold for about 10 seconds. You're gonna reach up, come on back. And for the book opening stretch, try 10 times each way for about a 10-second hold on each. Okay, so stretch number 9 is called a Sphinx Stretch. Okay, so now we're gonna start focusing on the front here. Okay, so we're gonna flip over a little bit here. Sphinx Stretch. You've probably seen this one done. We're gonna start on the knees, and then if you wanna make it a little bit harder, you can do it onto your hands. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You're gonna come over here. You're gonna get all the way flat on your mat. What I want you to do, make sure your toes are pressed down, okay, and then your hips are pressed down into the mat. So your hips aren't loose on this one. Hips are pressed down, and you're gonna hold that position there, okay? So the Sphinx Stretch is like this. Elbows down, kind of like you're starting to do a plank, okay? And what you're gonna do is just push your hips down and then push yourself up into total spinal extension. Your head's gonna be straight up. You're not looking up on this one. You're just gonna be straight. Push through your elbows. And for that one, you try for about 10 seconds in a row, and then you just come right back down. Okay, and then if you wanted to make that a little bit more, if you wanted to get a little more stretch, okay, you can come up onto your hands, okay? So if you felt like you wanted to do a little bit more, you can try pushing up all the way onto your hands for a little bit deeper stretch, okay? But I would say start with the regular Sphinx version on that one, just coming up, holding for 10 seconds, coming back down, and then trying for about 10 times for about 10 seconds on each one. All right, so stretch number 10, okay, this is called a Pigeon Stretch, okay? I've also heard it called a Butterfly Stretch, okay? So on this one, what we're gonna do is focus more on the hips as well as the leg, okay? So on this one, this one's a little bit interesting to get into the position, so go slow on this one, okay? What we're gonna do, let's start with my right leg as the Pigeon Stretch here. I'm gonna bring this down so the outside of my foot is down flat on the mat, okay? And then I'm gonna be folding my body over this, okay? Now this can vary. The lower it is, the less intense it's gonna be. The higher your foot is, the more intense the stretch is gonna be. So just vary that depending on your flexibility. Your body will tell you where to stop. Okay, so in this one, part 2 would be getting my knee down to the mat. My foot's gonna start sinking down towards my foot, that's fine. Okay, the back leg's gonna stretch out. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this stable, and I'm gonna come over the leg. Just trying to put my body weight down, and then I'm folding my head down onto my hands, and then just trying to relax, okay? So we would be there, and you'll feel a lot of stretch all the way through this really tight outside hip area that gets really tight when you're working at the desk all day, okay? You're here. And this one's really good for trying to hold for a long time. So 15 to 30 seconds, and let you see it from the other side, okay? The other foot. Okay, so you can alternate on that one. So once you get 15 to 30 seconds on one side, same thing with the other one. You're gonna bring the foot up first, okay? Foot flat. Support yourself with your arms, okay? Your knee's gonna come down, okay? I'm gonna push my back leg back. I'm sliding down a little bit, I'm gonna push my knee down, okay? And then I'm just gonna come over my leg and try to settle down on top of my hip, let my body weight come down, and then I'm gonna put my head on my hands and try to relax in that position, okay? Pigeon Stretch, holding, and I feel like I'm tighter on my left side, okay? Stretching, and then you wanna let your body just sink down and relax on top of that stretch there. Okay, and then make sure you come up safely out of that stretch, okay? So same thing on that one, I would try at least 3 times on each side for 15 to 30 seconds. Okay, so stretch number 11. Now we're gonna roll onto our side on this one. Okay, so this one we're gonna stretch the quadricep, the big quadricep, and part of the hip flexor. We're gonna do a hip flexor specific stretch in a moment, but this is a great one to get this started. Okay, so we're gonna rely on my left side to start, and my left leg is gonna be straight, my head is supported by my arm, and then I'm gonna grab above my shoe to pull my quadricep into a stretching position. Okay, so I'm reaching back, and pulling my knee in line with my body or slightly behind, and I'm just letting my head relax. And on this one, you can definitely get away with about 30 seconds on each stretch, okay? And then let me show you the other side. If you're gonna do the other leg, you wanna make sure you switch sides, okay? So if you're gonna be here, just make sure, switch onto your other hip, and then you'd lay down, supporting yourself on your right side, okay? And then you're gonna grab above your shoe, let your leg relax on top of your other leg, and then you're just gonna pull directly back and stretch the quadricep and the hip flexor. Keep your body in a nice straight line if you can. Breathe in and out. And try 3 times on each side for about 30 seconds. Okay, so stretch number 12 is a kneeling hip flexor stretch. Okay, so anytime you're sitting at a desk all day and your knees are bent, classic desk position, the muscles on the front of your hips, your hip flexors, get extremely tight. Okay, the tighter those are, the more they can pull your body forward into a spinal flexion position. Okay, so what we want to do to alleviate that is start to stretch these hip flexors out a little bit. Okay, so all these stretches are designed to work together, but this is very specific for the hip flexor, and I think you'll really like it. Okay, so this one, what we'll do is we're gonna stretch the right hip flexor first on this one. Okay, so hip flexor, knees down. I'm gonna put my other leg in front, so it's a little bit bent forward. Okay, so I don't want to lunge over my toes. I don't want my foot way back here. There's no support there. Okay, we want to go forward here, and if you need to have a little support, you can always put your support here. So this is a starting position for this one. This would be our kneeling hip flexor stretch. Okay, we're kneeling here, we have support, and we're leaning into the stretch. Perfect posture. Your nose is going out this way. You're not bending over. Okay, staying straight, leaning in. You're going to get a pretty good stretch through this whole front up area here. Okay, now what you can do to get a little more stretch involved is just raise your hands towards the sky and get a little more spinal flexion in there too. Okay, so that would be here, and then you'd lift up and reach into the stretch. And that's a pretty intense stretch, so you might want to start with 10 to 15 seconds on that one, okay? And then from the other side, or with the other leg, it would just look like this, same thing. And you can always use a chair if you want a little more support on this one, okay? We're here, right leg's going out in this case. I got my support here, my knee. I'm leaning in. This would be our basic kneeling hip flexor stretch. Excellent stretch. I already feel really good stretching through the front. Okay, if you want to make it a little bit more, raise your arms up and lean in a little bit more, reaching your hands back, and you'll get a really good stretch through the front of the abs and the hip flexors as well. So that one's going to be 3 times on each side for between 10 and about 30 seconds. All right, so stretch number 13 is a kneeling windmill stretch. Okay, so this one's going to be a few different muscle groups. Okay, so this one's going to be here. We were just in a kneeling position with the hip flexor stretch, right? So same kneeling position. Okay, on this one, instead of going forward this way, okay, what we're going to try to do is bring this right, I got my right leg down, I'm going to try to touch the right fingertips down, okay, and then I'm actually rotating up and looking at my hand. So it's almost like a kneeling book opening stretch. It's similar, okay, looking up. And we're trying to come back down. And this one, you would just almost like a windmill. We're going to go up and down, reaching up and down. And then for the other side, it would just be the exact same thing. We bring our left leg up, our right knee would stay down, okay? This left arm is going to be down. Fingertips are going to be on the floor if you can, okay? And then starting with your hands together, okay, we're going to windmill up. Your hand is going to be looking at your eyes are going to be looking at your hand. Your head's going to rotate up, okay? So this one, rotating up as high over as I can. Hold for 5 seconds, come down, windmill. Back up. Whoop, If you lose your balance, don't be surprised, especially if you haven't done this for a while, okay? Holding for about 5 seconds, back down. Big breaths out as you stretch, okay? And on that one, try about 10 times on each side for about 5 to 10 seconds each. Okay, stretch number 14 is called a prayer stretch. Okay, so this one you're gonna be down on your hands and knees on this one. What we're gonna do is bring your hands out a little bit, okay? This is called similar to a prayer position here. You're going to sit back onto your heels, okay? Head down, leave your hands there, and sit down, and then let your head relax. Okay. And then the prayer stretch can be done in 3 different positions. So that's kind of like the forward position. If I was going to get more stretch on the left side, this left lat muscle here, I could reach my hands over to the right, head down, stretch. Holding for like 15 to 30 seconds, and then the same thing if I was going to get more for the left side and stretching more on the right, okay, I would just turn this way. So this is my normal starting position. On this one, where we take a whole turn, kind of towards my left shoulder, okay? Turn, heads down right in between your hands, and stretch. And I feel a lot of stretch all the way down this whole side. This is a great stretch for after work. Stretching down. Trying to let everything else relax. And so you can try all 3 of those positions. Try 3 times in each position for about 30 seconds. Okay, and then stretch number 15 is gonna be for the hamstring muscles on the back of the leg. Anytime we're sitting all day, just like the hip flexors, the hamstrings can get extremely tight. So in this one, we're gonna actually finish by sitting on the mat. Okay, so here you can see me. I'm gonna start by stretching my left leg out. Okay, so we're gonna be sitting flat, hands are back, okay? My left leg, which I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna bring my toes back, my leg is flat on the ground. Okay, on this one, I'm gonna bring my right leg in. Just comfortable here, okay? Tucked in here. And then what I'm doing, I'm not hurdling stretch. The hurdling stretch is where you kind of come over and you're leaning over. That's not as good for your lower back. It will stretch your hamstring and it will stretch your back, okay? It's a little bit safer to keep your eyes up, okay? And this one, you're actually just tracking down. So I feel my bone here, my shin bone. Okay, and I'm just letting my fingers track towards my shoe right along my leg, and I'm keeping my eyes up. So it's gonna look like this. This is a good position, good posture, okay? My leg is straight, it doesn't need to be angled out this way, okay? Leg straight, and then I'm just gonna be forward with my eyes here, leaning down, stretching out. Oh yeah, and you're gonna get a lot of stretch through there. I can't get any further than that, okay? So that's a pretty good stretch. And on this one, same as the quadricep, it's a pretty big muscle group. So on this one, as long as you're holding for a comfortable position, I would try that one for a little bit longer. So I would try that one for 30 seconds. For the other leg, okay, we would just do the exact same thing. The right leg would obviously come out straight. Left leg's gonna come in. Same thing, just as far as you comfortably can, okay? This is gonna be tracking straight. You wanna bring your toes back. That's gonna make sure your calf is already stretching and pre-stretching your hamstrings a little bit too, okay? So here, fingers are feeling the bone on my right side. My eyes are straight ahead. And I'm sliding down until I feel a really good stretch right through my hamstring muscles. And I'm just breathing in and out, trying to let everything relax. And for the seated hamstring stretch, try 3 times on each side for about 30 seconds. All right, so next time you've had a long, stressful day at the office and you're sitting stuck in one position, okay, make sure to move your body and stretch in opposite positions to counteract those effects. These 15 stress relieving stretches will really help out. I hope they do. I'll see you later.